First off, you have to understand this phrase. It's always all about the money. They know that in order to make a fortune is to manufacture or sell something that everybody has to have, and ideally, the government pays for it.
He's built multi-million-dollar companies. His explosive books on health and wealth have sold over 60 million copies. Now, the Kevin Trudeau Show they don't want you to know.
Well, in the last few days, for those of you around the world, maybe you're not familiar, but a shocking thing happened. A guy walks up to a senior executive, I think he was the president or CEO, of one of the largest healthcare insurance company or healthcare organizations in America. And right on the street of New York, right out in front of the hotel, this guy walks up to this CEO of a major healthcare organization and just assassinates him, just shoots him. I mean, calmly, coolly, collected. It's all on video. And this guy just walks up, takes out a gun with a silencer, or they call it a suppressor, and just pop, pop, pop. Oh, and the gun jams. Calm, cool, and collected like a professional assassin, fixes it, and continues to just shoot the guy dead. Murder, an assassination, cold-blooded, and he shot him in the back, by the way, and then calmly walked away. Shocking. I mean, it was like a mob hit. It was like Paul Castellano walking into Sparks Steakhouse and John Gotti and his crew, Sammy the Bull Gravano, just shoots the guy. Him and Bilotti, the mob guys in charge of the Gambino crime family. And it was, front page of all the newspapers. That's what happened in New York. Shocking, cold-blooded, brutal murder. But what is more shocking is that on the internet, there was no outrage. No outrage on the internet. People were like, good, he had it coming. I mean, clearly that nobody has it coming. But the point is, the people did not feel bad about this assassination. That is the shock. That is in my opinion, the outrage. Why are people not outraged that this CEO of a major healthcare company just got assassinated? Why? Well, I'm going to talk about the healthcare industry today. And this is going to shock you because I'm going to tell you stuff that they don't want you to know about. And I was just with many billionaires, many of who made their money in the pharmaceutical industry. They call it the biotech industry, but it's the drug companies. And I'm going to tell you some things that's going to blow your mind. First off, you have to understand this phrase. It's always all about the money. Okay, put that in your bonnet here. Put that off to the side. So let's go back to the 1800s in America. And you had a guy by the name of John D. Rockefeller. And you had J.P. Morgan, Thomas Edison. You had a guy named Vanderbilt. Andrew Carnegie. We'll deal with those four. Industrialists in that era, and it's the same today with entrepreneurs, business people, they know that in order to make a fortune is to manufacture or sell something that everybody has to have, they use every day, and ideally, the government pays for it. That's how you become ultra wealthy and ultra powerful. Vanderbilt did it with the railroads. Carnegie did it with steel. J.P. Morgan did it with electricity. And Rockefeller did it with oil. And there are other people that did it in those industries too, but those are the big guys, right? They knew that if they could get into something that everyone had to use, it was not an option, it was a necessity that had to be used over and over again, something that was consumable. Electricity, you use some electricity today, and you use some more tomorrow, and you use some more the next day. J.P. Morgan hooked up with Thomas Edison, and they founded Edison General Electric. Later, the word Edison was dropped, and it was just General Electric. And at the time, nobody even realized or thought that people were going to be using electricity on a regular basis. J.P. Morgan had the foresight. He said, no, there are going to be poles all across America with wires, and these wires are going to go into everybody's home and businesses, and electricity is going to be used every single day, and I'll be making money 24 hours a day, 7 days a week while I'm sleeping. It'll be incredible, and that's exactly what happened. Oil. John D. Rockefeller said oil is going to be used for a multitude of things, because remember, when oil was coming out of the ground, there was no cars. They were using it for kerosene to light homes. And when Edison and J.P. Morgan started putting electricity in homes, that's when they pivoted to create gasoline for the new automobile industry and move away from steam power to gas engines and diesel engines. So Rockefeller knew that oil was black gold, that people would be consuming it. They run out, they buy more, they run out, they buy more, and it would be needed. The railroad, same thing. The railroad today is still 100% needed. You can't run America or any country in the world if you don't have any railroads. Railroads is a necessity, and it's used all the time, and it's just a printing press. Steel. Every time something is built, steel is required, and that's how Carnegie made his money. And there are other industries as well. Rockefeller knew that there was another area that was untapped, and that is doctors, health. Because back in the 1800s, there wasn't a lot of doctors. People tried to treat themselves. When the Civil War happened, it was a catastrophe because there wasn't enough doctors. The foresight that Rockefeller had when it came to oil, he also used that foresight looking at medicine. And he was instrumental in founding the American Medical Association, the AMA. And he was instrumental in forming drug companies to manufacture at incredibly low cost, almost nothing, a drug, and then convince you, the public, that you needed this drug to stay healthy or to cure you of some disease. The problem was people weren't going to doctors and drug sales were sluggish. So Rockefeller came up with a plan, and the plan was insurance. We're going to convince people to buy an insurance policy. And if they buy the insurance policy, one of the things is they'll go to their doctor at least once a year for a checkup. And then we will incentivize the doctors to prescribe drugs. And if they do, they'll get a commission. This is how it all started. Let's get people using drugs. And then over time, the business model of the drug companies was, we need doctors prescribing drugs every single time they see a patient. But more importantly, we need them to prescribe a drug that the patient will have to take every day for the rest of their life. We will make a fortune. And if we can get somebody addicted to the drug, like an opioid, we will become gazillionaires. And it happened. So over time, what occurred was a cabal, a criminal enterprise was formed. All these guys, by the way, should be charged with racketeering. And it included the food industry, it included the insurance, the health insurance industry, and it includes the drug companies, the pharmaceuticals. So all of these groups got together, and they still get together today in meetings. And I know this for a fact. Last week I was just with a bunch of guys, and they told me how they were in the meetings with the CEOs of the insurance companies, the drug companies, and the food companies to work out how they work together to increase profits. So they work together. And by the way, I shared this in my book, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, which is one of the reasons why the government came after me. And the reason why I'm even bringing this up today is because with the new administration, there are some people in there that are allies. Robert F. Kennedy, Let's Make America Healthy Again. I can now say this without the fear that the government's going to come swooping in, charge me with something, and get me off the air. Because this is something I don't want you to know. The food companies, the insurance companies, and the drug companies work together. So they all increase their profits. They have no interest, and there's no discussions about what is healthy for the people, what is best for the people. The Food and Drug Administration of the United States, the past director, before he died, wrote in my book a quote, and he said, as the past director of the FDA, I can tell you that the Food and Drug Administration of America is not interested in the health of Americans. Their only interest is increasing the profits and protecting the profits of the drug companies. That tells the tale. After he made that statement, by the way, he wasn't sick, but he died of natural causes. Little coincidence there. Little coincidence. Hi, I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week now. Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel and share these shows with everyone you know.